Hello, welcome back to This or That with Kobe and Jatt, our first episode of the summer
Back on
split.
American soil.
Back from MSI, where RNG took down Korea. How you feeling?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Super excited for the new meta to take over.
7 slides today, tying our all-time record on the show.
Can
We've
we
only done
do
it
it?
like 3 times. We can. Slide number 1. Let's do it for This or That. Stronger ADC, traditional or Fiesta? So first off, I personally don't like the term Fiesta for having mages and bruisers and melees in the bottom lane. And we've also been calling it bot lane for about a year now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
In preparation, we saw coming.
Stronger bot lane carry, I think, is this question. What do you think? This or
Great.
that?
I think it completely depends on who's playing the champion. If you have a solo laner who has a ton of experience on these champions in the bottom lane, or even just someone who has played them a lot in the bottom lane, and you're trying to flex that solo lane out of a bad matchup elsewhere on the map, then I think that's a better choice for your team. However, I think for the majority of people, Kai'Sa specifically, Ezreal and Lucian are perfect champions for the meta right now because, yes, Crit got super hard nerfed, but these 3 AD carries right now are just thriving.
I think that's the perfect way of putting it. I think a lot of in the pro games where we have the weird bottom lanes, it's with some of those champions banned or denied in some way. I think the earlier power spikes of Blade of the Ruined King on Lucian or the tier
Essence
builds
Reaver as well
with Ezreal have actually been pretty strong. So these 3 versus those 3, I think those 3 are actually, so this 3 are slightly stronger right now. Crit, with the base stat changes that have been made, making it even out at level 6, is giving them stronger or weaker laning phases. Then it takes until 20 or 30 minutes before they're completed and the game is over. If the game gets to a point where it's taken 40 minutes to close, I think Crit starts coming back. But right now, I actually think these 3 specifically will be slightly stronger than the other 3.
If they're traditional, then let's go with that. All right, so this for that slide.
Double it up.
We're gonna go to number 2.
Stop it. This, that, or the other thing. They're already giving us cheats in this game. Optic or FlyQuest or Golden Guardian.
The big three. Last split, we had them ranked as the bottom 3 teams. This split as well, we have them ranked as the bottom 3 teams, but who's gonna come out on top and get super close through the playoffs?
Listen, we had this discussion on the dive, which will be out by the time This or That has. We had different rankings for number 8. My number 8, which is the better of the 3, is going to be this once again for Optic. I like the core that they had from last split, and I think they're at least trying to get stronger top lane and supports, and I think they're positioned for a little bit of success.
Yeah, and I think that FlyQuest made some good changes, and
I had them 10th.
Azale had some good
Who did you have
arguments
8th?
for FlyQuest, but I had Golden Guardians at 8th. And that was because of a lot of the improvements that I saw in the players that were already on the roster. I didn't even put them there because of the mid lane change. Like I didn't think that was a very big deal bringing in Mickey. But I did think that definitely showed a lot of improvement. I think he's a very strong bottom lane player that could have a lot of success here. And contracts from the jungle super strong as well. But again, these 3 teams, it's hard shuffling them around down there.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely that any of these teams make the playoffs because they're in a tough situation and they made the most changes. But this and then the other thing.
I have never chosen the other thing, but I'm gonna choose the other thing.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Someone will check. All right, we're going to slide number 3. I'm not sure if I have either. This or that, we don't do it very often. More iconic 8-11 duo, Taric Master Yi or Banning and Talia. So the Taric Master Yi thing is something that I think needs a little bit of clarification. One of the words for it is gold funneling. I like calling it Super Yi or Super Karthus. It's the strategy of one person not having farm and giving it all to the other. Taric holds the mid lane, gives it to Yi. That's the most common one. We've seen Graves Braum, we've seen Mordekaiser Shyvana, we've seen Karthus Nunu. I think from an iconic standpoint, you're much more likely to remember this than a red side ban every game, which is what Talia is. So more prevalent, Talia, more iconic, these guys.
I think exactly. The wording of the question is definitely about gold funneling, this new strategy. Everybody's trying to get, super farm someone in their game. Plus, you're always going to remember that game where they had like a Master Yi taking jungle and mid lane farm.
Yeah.
And he's going to be diving you at level 6 with the ultimates coming through. But my personal favorite, especially as a jungler, as soon as the changes to Talia came in, was Jungle Talia, by the way. This is what most of the bans are aimed at. She still can be played in the mid lane. A lot of good mid laners are still utilizing her, but I feel like she's really flying out there in the jungle. However, just as a ban, that's not as exciting. So boom, we'll go with this.
Talia's stronger.
Next slide.
I've gone this all 3 times. I feel like there's a sense of blue side bias right now. Will we see Pyke in NALCS? Yes!
Heck yeah!
Of course!
I've seen him in every single solo queue game that I've had, so I hope that we see him in the LCS because I think especially if you build resistances. So building health is not very effective as the conversion to damage isn't that high, but aftershock on him and building things like Stone Plate, which actually give you a big burst of power, which is going to be converted to
damage. You know what his base health is at level 18? 2,471.
Which is good base stats.
That's like 200 health more than Alistair, who had the highest base health previously.
I feel like they did give him a lot of base health because you can't build health, thinking everyone's gonna just follow what they wanted and build full damage. But if you build resistances, then you do get tanky.
Aftershock Pyke with the initiation. I think we've seen it banned in the LPL. I think seeing him in NALCS probably
as a ban counts, I guess.
think it counts. I'm going this 4 for 4. On this is today.
Next slide.
Slide number 5. This is how I keep count as well.
Yeah. You gotta say it every
Stable
time.
NALCS rosters. Better performance in spring or same problems in spring. This refers to the fact that we thought 44 of 50 returning starters. There's a chance it's closer to 41 if some people
just
make
found
some
out
changes
this morning
afterwards.
Cloud9 might be doing some academy players.
That's what we heard. You never know what's going to happen with that. But do you think that having stable rosters means better performance or that people just aren't fixing their problems?
I mean, honestly, I think a lot of it comes down to who else are you going to get? Because of the academy rosters, more players are already spoken for. More players, have these contracts with organizations. Plus, because of franchising, so many of the players went after multi-year contract deals. So that lends a lot to why we didn't see as many changes also.
Yeah, but
who's
right? Is it this or that?
What's going to be the outcome?
I'm kind of saying that there was so much change in the spring, and teams took so long to try and find their footing. Like COG feels like they wasted a split just figuring out what to do. I'm going to say this for a 5th time in a row is a little bit better than that.
With so many things changes
Both
in
of
the
them are
state
true.
of the game, though, definitely going to be difficult. I don't think.
Are you going to have the same problem?
I'm going to go with this. Because the same problems, like you said, a lot of the teams focused on their issues. The Echo Fox was a lot of their bottom lane was the big talk, and the mainstay of the team. With CLG, you were talking about the communication, a lot of that stuff. So I definitely would go with the slide this.
Yeah, slide number 6 is coming up next. More excited for Lucian buffs, Huni or Doublelift?
Doublelift is super excited about them, but Huni, I don't know. In the current state of the game, I've been still seeing a lot of tanks in the top lane. Everybody else is kind of going crazy, but they've still been a fairly stable top lane roster.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the time the top lane are the ones that aren't having the fun. But
Willie switched to down bottom lane now.
That's what I'm really excited to see is if Huni moves positions depending on where the farm is throughout the game. That's kind of different than Lucian buffs. Huni's going to play whatever in the top lane. Lucian's just what he's most iconic for. But he's played literally everything. Doublelift is the guy who is an insane Lucian, loves the champion. It's going to be banned against them, I feel like, almost every game.
Also, I feel like Essence Reaver on Lucian is perfect for Doublelift because he's the one who would definitely get in there. He utilizes the movement and the double shot resets there so effectively. I think he's more excited for it. Huni has a lot of options as far as especially role swapping, but I'm going with that.
Yeah, that I'm switching up. Final slide, 7th slide. We made it. More left out. ADC players or Waluigi. You don't talk often about Waluigi. I think the first game he was in, I remember playing Waluigi in Mario Tennis in N64.
To me, he was always, it wasn't even like, he's like the fake characters, like the Wah times or characters or whatever, where they weren't that important to me, so I didn't really care that he was left out of Smash Brothers, but other people are big fans of Waluigi. I prefer regular Luigi, so I don't really care.
I think he's a totally fictitious character. Like, you can't just add him to the IP and be like, Wario has a brother who looks like Luigi. Surprise. It's dumb. Anyway, this being more left out.
I mean, well, they have Wario in there, right? So that's why, like, precedent. There's been precedent set.
I can't think of an analogy. You don't have, like, Walla Peach. Like, there's not an evil Peach. Is there? I don't think so. They could add one. ADC players being left out, I think, is actually a legitimate concern when there's this one role. Again, this is something that Zale brought up on the dive, where all these other positions, top lane, jungle, mid, support, have all had to play like different subclasses of champions in their position throughout history of League, so it's kind of a normal thing that you have to change. Whereas with these crit marksmen, currently, the game does feel too fast for them to turn on. What I will say is if you can actually get to your IE and double zeal with a Last Whisper, these guys are still absolutely insane. Right now, you're not going to pick these in pro. I don't think so.
Yeah.
We actually have seen Kog'Maw, Ashe, and Draven all in pro, so I actually think...
And Jhin as well.
I actually think it's overblown that those guys are left out. Looking at this picture right now, which clearly makes Waluigi being removed from the Nintendo universe as the clear answer.
I only like Melee anyway. I don't pay attention to these Brawl wannabes.
What if this one has better esports, Kobe?
I think Melee's... never mind.
All right,
He's not in Melee, so I don't care. I'm going to say the 80 carry players.
Really?
Left out, yeah.
All right, I think there's a lot of sentiment regarding that, so you can go with either one. But that'll do it for this or that. I personally cannot wait for the beginning of the summer split. NALCS Countdown starts 1:30 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday. Watch it all right here on the stage.